Welcome everyone to the Sharpe Way show. I'm so happy that you all have come and watched me today. It's 7 p.m. on the East Coast, which means you got to look at my mug. That's the rules. I'm sorry, I don't make up. Well, actually, I do make the rules, but I also enforce the rules and I also follow them. See, so at least I'm consistent. It's 7 p.m. Thank you so much. I am very excited this evening. I'm very lucky that I have with me an entrepreneur, an artist, a former candidate for mayor of Atlanta, Laban King. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Larry. And I have to say you have an amazing name because that was my dad's name.
Oh, is that right? There we go. Yeah. Yes.
Larry King. Yeah.
There aren't that many Larrys out there anymore. Not so many. Right. There's a couple here or there. But yes, it makes very good for Googling. It's only me. So that's good. So what made me want to bring you on the show was a feeling or emotion that I got from you with everything I've seen that you've done. And that is, as we've talked about, an unabashedness and an ability to just say, here's what I think, here's what I'm doing. If you don't like it, you can change the channel. But this is where I am. And I want, you actually have ideas and plans to move. In this specific case, we're talking about the Black community forward, which I think a lot of people don't even talk about that. From your Facebook page, you did a video about this. Tell me about what made you think about the idea of entrepreneurship, the idea of moving forward, getting your money up, as you say. Where'd that come from?
Well, it really comes from my parents. One of my mottos is take care of your business and your business will take care of you.
I like that.
And the one thing that people have to understand is that, this is a whole system that we're in. And regardless of whether it's the right system or the wrong system, in order to beat it, you have to be inside first. And so that's why it's important to, do everything that you can to make sure that you have money coming in, but also to be politically aware and to either change policy through running or to influence it through, lobbying. And so.
Sure. And either of those things takes money.
Sure does.
Absolutely. It takes money either way.
Every movement costs money.
Absolutely. So I want to share your actual video for a couple of minutes so that people can see what you did. This is about 3 years ago. Yeah. And you were actually, if I remember the story right, you were outside of Google. Is that right?
Yeah. So that was, I was in Mountain View, California. I actually went to Google headquarters and I spoke on a panel regarding cryptocurrency and, the future of it.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, I got to tell you, so many people in the Black community don't get or don't want anything to do with cryptocurrency. And I think it's a mistake. Let me say what you were saying here.
Okay.
Founder of the New Black Wall Street movement. So
can you hear that?
I am
yes.
In San Francisco. Actually, I'm in Silicon Valley area.
Yep.
Basically, Atlanta, a lot of the flights got canceled. So thanks to Google, they have allowed me to stay here.
So you were actually staying there after Google. You spoke there at a panel, right?
Correct.
All right. So tell me what happened in that panel.
So it was for a conference called Next Generation, and it had individuals of color from all over the country. I was able to tour Google's full campus as well as I went to Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg and the Chang Foundation as well as YouTube. And so the panel that I spoke on I was actually invited by a young man named Rodney Sampson.
Okay.
A lot in technology, especially within the cryptocurrency space in Atlanta. And so I actually met him when I was running for mayor.
Got it.
Found out about, the fact that I was able to invest in Bitcoin at an early stage in the introduction of Bitcoin.
Yes.
So he just asked me to come to Mountain View and I went and it was an incredible experience.
I love that. And for those of you who want more on what Laban's doing, head over to labanking.com to see what's going on there. So you spoke in that video about something that I really want to bring up, which is a bit controversial, but it's the idea of allowing Black people to fail. This is controversial, right? This is controversial in white communities, in everyone, but particularly in the Black community. It's like you can't fall down. Once you fall down, see that, now you're a loser. I told you, right? That's what happens all the time. Mm-hmm. But you and I both know you always wind up failing your way to success, right? I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, you know, there's an old saying, if once you don't succeed, just try yourself, try again.
Yep.
The problem is that most Black people don't get that again.
Yes.
Either you do something and it doesn't work out for whatever reason. It could be you had a lack of funding, had a lack of experience, had a lack of support. I know for myself, when I first started investing, I actually raised $80,000, which at that time was a lot of money for me.
That's great.
I went out to Silicon Valley and that was gone within days.
Sure. Yes.
Because I was investing in something that I had no knowledge of. And
sure.
I was actually trying to get an app built. And, you know, I'm not technologically savvy. So basically I got kind of screwed around. But the grace of the people, I'll never forget, there's this one investor that I had named Joseph. And he said, Laban, I didn't invest in that product. I invested in you. And
wow. So nice.
Yeah. You know, because anytime you lose somebody's money, you know, you better watch your back.
Yeah.
They knew that I went out there and did what I needed to do. And I will forever be grateful for those people. And we're still working together. So that's the most beautiful thing about it. But
I love what you said just now. You know, there's a lot of people right now, and you've seen it in the finance industry, who've been getting laid off because technology's been taking their jobs. And then they all think that they're great investors now. But yeah, you said your head no, exactly, because they think the numbers is all that matters. The numbers matter, but the leadership matters more. The people matter more, right, than the numbers. The numbers matter, but the people matters more.
Correct.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to continue to listen, the best way to learn is to fail. Like that's the best way to learn. And I can truly say that was my first major investment, but I made a lot of mistakes and I was able to learn from it. And so now I'm more conscious about what I do. I'm more diligent. I'm more awesome. I'm more patient. And I'm more understanding. I make sure to do my due diligence before stepping into anything.
Right.
My dad used to always say, Laban, I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about everything.
There we go.
That's my whole goal, is to be just somebody who has a lot of general knowledge about a lot of things.
I like everything you're saying. And I want to go back to another piece, which is Black specific here. Mm-hmm. And that is, you said, and someone actually brought it up, they're not allowed to go back. You know, Buddha brought us right up. He said, allowed to go back to go fail again. Well, what do you mean by that? And what I would feel is, I think in my own world, like I'm biracial. Mm-hmm. I'm Black on my father's side. And I look at my father's family, and there aren't many entrepreneurs. There aren't many. There are not many at all. Mm-hmm. And as I'm basically the only one, it's just me, somebody else. And they all think I'm crazy and thought I was crazy. And when I got my ass kicked in the 2009 crash and had to reboot everything, that was where I learned, right? That was valuable lessons for me. But they all thought I'd give up and go get a job. They assumed that and thought I was crazy. Why you failed? Stop and go get a job. In fact, you know, I think the government's hiring. I mean, that was their mindset. You fail, go get a job. See, you're not cut out for this. That's the social pressure that I received. Are you talking that social pressure, or are you talking institutional pressure? Both? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about a mixture of both. I mean, to this day, I do it very well. As you can see, I'm in my place right now in New York City. And people still think, oh, Laban, are you going to get a job? First of all, look at me. Who's got to hire me right now looking like this for the most part? But like, I'm winning. It's just that, you know, one of the things about a lot of people within the Black community is that we want to live as safe as possible because we know the ramifications for failing. We know that a lot of people don't have money to help you fall. Once you fall, they don't have the resources. Even if they had the heart and wanted to do it, they simply don't have the money.
Right.
Remember, the average Black household makes $34,000 a year, you know, and so we have to remember those are That's the data, including Tyler Perry, all the way into
Yes.
on the corner. And the unfortunate thing about it is, as Forbes magazine said, by the year 2053, the median income of Black America will be 0. So let's talk about this. We have 46 million Black people in this country. That means when you add up everybody's wealth and you put it together and you divide it by 46 million, not only is it going to be 0, but that's going to mean that more Black people will end up being born in permanent poverty. I want you to think about this. The average Black household right now is worth $500.
Wow.
We don't even have enough money to buy a vow on Wheel of Fortune.
Wow. We can't even buy a vow. Wow. Yeah. Look, I'm with you, right? And I look at my own world, and I grew up in the 70s in the Bronx.
Okay.
And the way that my family was able to get us out of the Bronx and out to Long Island, which I thought Suffolk County, I thought I'm moving it up. I thought I'm George Jefferson. I'm moving out to Suffolk County. I thought that was it. And they did it by not with an entrepreneurial spirit, right? My father was a DJ on the weekends. This is back during Donna Summer, disco days, Bee Gees, right? Yeah. And my mother, she used to clean businesses and offices and houses. She would clean on the weekends. We'd make extra money that way. I was there too with my mom cleaning. I couldn't DJ with my dad. It was at night, late at night. I was a kid, but I could go, scrub a window. That I could do. So I'd go scrub a window and we made money and we got out. But what I found was funny is once we got out, we were totally complacent. Totally complacent. See, we made it. Done. We were complacent. And there was no desire anymore to have the business or do something out. And most people thought you made it, move on. And that was, I look back now and I'm surprised at that, but maybe I shouldn't be.
Well, see, with my situation, I'm from Detroit originally. And my mother and father both worked in the automotive industry. And at the time, they had great benefits, great pay, but also a union that protected you. And so although my dad and mom did have side businesses, their main income was their jobs.
Sure.
That brought security.
Right.
They were from the school of you work here for 30 years and you get your pension.
Right.
I had to tell my dad, I was like in high school and I said, Dad, that was your generation. I'm not working 30 years nowhere. I'm not even working 30 years for shit that I own.
Right.
So,
right.
With that being said, like it's just a mindset of the past. And so at this point, the way I look at it as you get one life, but you can have a lot of experiences within that one life.
That's true.
Experience to find your whole existence.
I completely agree. I think if you look at the average person now who comes out of, say, high school or college, say 10 years ago and on, the average person is going to have 5 different careers, not 5 different jobs, 5 different careers. So I want to go back to before this. You told me that you originally started in music. How did you start in music? Because Detroit, music town, or what? How did music start?
I mean, well, it is, growing up in the church choir in Detroit, Greater Grace Temple, and then singing in different community choirs. I sang actually in a choir called Mosaic Youth Theater. And when I was a senior in high school, they did a documentary called And They Flew. They followed myself as well as 3 other members of the choir, and it ended up winning an Emmy.
Wow.
Right. And so I did that. And then I went to the University of Michigan for undergrad. I interned at different record labels during the summer, like Arista and Bad Boy. And then, after undergrad, I moved to New York. So music has always just something that's been my blood. I've sang classical music. I've played a few instruments. But, at the same time, we have to remember entertainment is the lowest paid industry in the world. And
is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I think of, Tyler Perry. That's not a low paying job.
See, there's a lot of times people, first of all, you have to remember entertainment is entertainment. Therefore, a lot of people acting like they're richer than what they actually are.
Got it. Okay.
So that's number one. But number two, people like Tyler Perry and Oprah and Jay-Z, those are very rare, to the point where anytime you can name the successful ones like that means that there's not too many.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. So let me grab a couple of comments.
Okay.
Buddha says self-esteem is not equal for a reason. I think that's true. I think you gain a lot of self-esteem by what you said, by having the experiences, right? And then being able to get back up, right? I mean, I think that's how you gain your self-esteem. Am I right?
Correct. My dad said it best. As long as you have breath in your body, you have a chance to recover.
That's true.
So when I look at my failures, I don't look at them as the end. I look at them as the beginning of something new.
I remember
perspective.
An executive coach named Carol Hyatt used to mention this to me years ago. She said, you have to look at failure just as what it is, an event. That's all it is. It's an event. It could have been a good event or a bad event or whatever event, but it's not the end of the world or the beginning of the world. It's just an event in your life. And if you could look at it as that, you could then learn from it.
But you know what? I think that we talk about failure and the horrible ramifications of failure, but nobody talks about the horrible ramifications of success. I love Whitney Houston. She became addicted to drugs because she could not handle the success of her career. And so I tell people everything in life has a dual purpose. Water, we need it to live, but we can drown.
Yep.
Fire, we need to cook our food, but we can burn to death. A knife, we need to cut our food, but we can, end up cutting and killing someone.
Right.
That can take down a building or it can take down people. Right. And so you have to take everything and see that everything has a power to either build or to destroy. It's your decision of what you want to do with it.
I love that. So Jimmy says, I failed so much, I succeeded.
Hey.
I like that. I love that. Ryan says, make everything a learning experience. You never lose. Also true. Yes. Sam says, Laban makes some great points. I like the quote about learning about a lot of things. I think my success is from a willingness to learn about things I'm not interested in. Oh, that is interesting. I think most people struggle on that one, right? Most people, if they don't like it, they don't want to know nothing about it.
Well, I'm reading a book right now called Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Okay.
I just literally started the other day. And it talks about the fact that every moment counts. Like the thing about it is God does not give us idle time. He gives us time in which we have to decide this second it may be a second to you, but it's a step forward into your dreams or into your aspirations. And so I tell people all the time, don't marginalize time. Time is not on your side. And ketchup goes on hot dogs, not on life. And so with that being said, you can't, sing your shoulda, coulda, wouldas. You have to do it now.
Right. What brings up B1? Do you consider yourself B1?
What is that exactly?
Black first. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
Black first. Sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I made an assumption I should not have made. I apologize. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Black. Absolutely. Listen, on a daily basis, I don't look like this. Like I'm walking down the street. And the unfortunate thing about it is, I hate to admit this, but when the whole mask mandate was happening, to be honest, I didn't feel comfortable wearing a mask.
You're not alone. A lot of people didn't feel it.
With everything going on now and, with crime and this, that, and other, and with, racial profiling, I didn't want to be in a situation in which I'm trying to protect myself from corona, but then getting assaulted, because of a perceived racial, profiling situation. So, I'm Black first, definitely.
Because I remember, you have been about the video that you shared on Facebook moved me because there tends to be two separate sides when it comes to how do you help the Black community. One side is you got to go through the government, get the programs, go through that. That's option one. And then option two seems to be, oh, you Black men are bad. Pick yourself by your bootstraps. Black men are bad. See, there's good Black men. Why don't you be a good father? Why don't you be a good Black man? That seems to be the other side of it, right? That it's all the Black man's fault, right? That seems to be two sides of it. You don't go there. You have to have a middle ground, which is like, yeah, we gotta, we're in trouble. That's true. And government has put us in trouble. That's true. And We got to get together and pick ourselves up as a group. You're not a pick yourself by your bootstraps. You're like, let's hold hands and pick ourselves up together. It's a whole different mindset, which I rarely hear.
Well, it's about accountability to everybody. So it's accountability to government. I am definitely, I've been fighting the fight for reparations and this, that, and other, because here's the thing. No other group has created wealth on their own. It's always been government in place. At the same time, the worst thing that can happen is that we get reparations and we don't know what to do with it.
I say that all the time. It's why I am so scared that the government's going to decide, let's give all the descendants of slaves a check.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this big check to all this, and it's gone in 6 months, and it's like the lottery, right? It's like half of the population is worse off, a third go bankrupt because we have no idea what to do with anything. I am afraid of something like that.
And even I think the problem is that there is no amount of money that can correct the wrongs of this country. However, one thing that we have to do is, in the fight of reparations, we also have to demand that we have more seats in different industries, because otherwise it's just us giving a check and us giving it right back to different other groups in the government within itself. So we have to have a stake in industries, and I've been preaching.
I agree so much, and this is I don't mean to cut you off, but you've just got me going. Mm-hmm. This is what literally Killer Mike was talking about in Atlanta. He did that one special where he said, I'm going to try to spend a day in Atlanta, heavily black city. He said, so where I could spend one day in only black-owned businesses, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do one day in Atlanta in only black-owned businesses. I don't know if you heard, but my whole idea for reparations is to ensure that you have literally an incentivization for descendants of slaves to get into business and into real estate, to have that ownership. And my idea is government makes a mandate for, I said a generation, 23 years, or whatever number you want to put. But I'm happy to move that number around. But for sake of argument, 23 years. Mm-hmm. For sake of argument only, I'm prepared to change numbers. But for the sake of argument, 50%. Meaning that if any business is begun now that has 51% ownership of descendants of slaves or more, that business by default pays half tax for the next 23 years. And any property purchased, commercial or private, doesn't matter, resident, doesn't matter, and it's owned by 51% or more descendants of slaves, boom, 50% in taxes, period. Even if it's a commercial building, I don't care what it is, 50%. Encouraging people to say, let me bring my black brothers and sisters into this because I get a benefit to do so. Encouraging integration, encouraging the mindset. But something else I want to bring up to your other point. I want to make it so that if you then transfer wealth within your family, mm-hmm. no matter how you transfer that wealth, because we didn't have that wealth to transfer.
Correct.
So if you transfer that wealth, no matter what, for 23 years, you transfer that wealth, it is free, regardless of tax rates, regardless of fees, government fees, it is free. You may transfer wealth to your descendants for free for 23 years.
Well,
that was part of my whole plan.
One time, my best friend Greg and I, we went from Dubai to Egypt, and we were on Emirates, and it was a light flight. And when I tell you, the food was so incredible, and we were in coach. So just imagine what they were eating in business. Sure. Because reparations only benefits America. It benefits everybody. People look at it as, oh, you're just helping black people. No. We are the fabric of this country, just like other races. And therefore, if we win, the whole country wins. We are not in the position to be divided as Americans, because guess what? There's a land yonder called China. Mm-hmm. They're not divided. And they are creeping up on us. And that's the one thing, although I was not a Trump supporter, the one thing I could truly say about Trump that I loved as president, he gave it to China. He really, really,
I think a lot of people actually felt that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people felt that.
He was because China's been doing a lot of stuff. They've been manipulating currency and this, that, and other, and they just don't play fair. Like, the fact that Hollywood is literally creating movies surrounded by China.
Correct.
It's just
NBA. Absolutely.
Crazy.
Yes, absolutely. So let me grab a couple more comments if I can. Alicia says, failure are building blocks. I like that. Tom likes your dad. He says, your father sounds like a great man. So there's something nice. You like your dad. That's good. The advice being given is pure gold. I wish more people followed it, and I'd followed it sooner. I'm not hurting now. Work ethic got me most of the way. I think a lot of households are in that 500 savings category. I think that's true. A lot. That is a black thing, but it's not only a black thing.
Well, the recession happened because the average American didn't have an extra $500 coming into their household.
Absolutely.
Just think about that. This country financially failed over $500 extra.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%.
And we haven't recovered. And then Corona happened, and look where we're at now.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let me go to the piece you brought up, currency. You are a big fan of cryptocurrency.
I am not a big fan.
Not a big fan, but I thought you were. What happened? Did I miss something?
No. So here's the thing. We should invest in it, but I tell people, just be careful.
Okay.
One of the things that I do not like what is happening in the cryptocurrency space is they're trying to marginalize the power of fiat money. And everybody's just like crypto. The main thing that they're saying is our money is not backed up by anything, the USD. Let me tell y'all something. And look at me in this camera. The United States money is backed up by something. It's called bullets.
Yep. I say it all the time. Yes.
And if you ever get it twisted, you better do your research.
The military industrial complex is what backs it.
Right. So for every penny out there, it's a bullet.
Yep.
Okay. So it's backed up by something. However, it is a piece of technology that's not going anywhere. And so let's begin to use it, but also let's begin to understand my issue. One of my concerns with cryptocurrency. First of all, one thing about Bitcoin, I don't believe this whole it's anonymous and this and that. I don't believe that.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
But one of the things that I'm concerned with is that there's a lot of people within the Black community that make money under the table.
Mm-hmm.
Beauticians,
yep.
Barbers,
yep.
People who work in cleaning and
car repair.
And so with that being said, I don't want those individuals to be locked out. And so I'm hoping that, there's a system in which they can bring them in and they can still be able to make the money that they make. But for the most part, I want people to do your research, invest wisely, and only invest what you can afford to lose.
Got it. Paula's saying preach. So it's all good. Yes. She's like that. Yes. So Sandra has a question. What do you think about federal student debt forgiveness? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
That is going to hurt Black America.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, although, I've had the opportunity to go to college, my sister has, that is not a reality for most Black people. Mm-hmm. And so what that does is it eliminates debt for people who are non-Black, and they already have an advantage. The problem is that a Black person with a college degree makes less than a white person that's a high school dropout. And this is statistics from Sandy Darity, who's an economist at Duke University. So with that being said, it eliminates the debt for white people and they're able to get jobs and this, that, and other. Meanwhile, we may have, but we still can't get jobs. So while I believe student loan forgiveness is important, it has to be done in a way so that it will not add into the more inequities of what we're already facing.
Okay. All right. Adam says generational wealth is the key for our prosperity.
Listen, you only build wealth with legacy, not with labor.
There we go. I like that. With legacy. You build wealth with legacy and not labor. Look at that. We're going to be stealing all your stuff. That's it. And probably giving you no credit. Now, give labor some credit. It's fine. Give a little bit. It's fine. Yeah. Daniel says, with society as polarized as it is now, a measure which would pit Americans against one another along racial lines would be reparations. So it's interesting. It's an interesting idea. I think Daniel does have a concern that if the reparations seems fair only to us, only to the Black population, only to the Black community, but it doesn't seem fair to the other communities, do we risk a backlash, right? Do we risk from slavery and freeing the slaves? we get Jim Crow as a backlash. From Jim Crow, civil rights, we get war on drugs as a backlash. Is there a fear, is Daniel's fear valid that if we do reparations the wrong way, we get a backlash on that too that might make things worse?
I think we're going to get a backlash anyway. At the end of the day, we are in a state of emergency financially within this country. And the thing that people have to understand is it's not like if Black people get reparations, they're only going to spend their money 100% in Black-owned businesses. They're still going to have, perfect example, I'm looking for a new condo in New York. I love my realtor. She's a white woman. And I like, as much as I'm, one of my businesses, she's a white woman, and she's amazing at what she does. She's earned my business. So I'm going to support her. So it's not like it's going to just stay within the community. However, when you look at the data, listen, in 2008, we lost Black wealth by 69%.
I know, it was horrible.
Is in the baby boomer generation.
Yep.
And so things are starting to dwindle. And so if people would just understand and do their research, look at the data and see this group of people, number one, we were promised it. That's number one. Number two, when slavery was abolished, white slave owners got reparations as well as law. And so it is just about being balanced and letting America be a man of its word.
Okay. So let me make a shift, if I could, to another career you had. You ran for mayor of Atlanta.
Yes.
I mean, Atlanta is not a small city. I mean, Atlanta's got a lot of stuff going on. What made you decide to run for mayor?
You want to know the real story?
I do, yes.
So the night of the election between Hillary and Donald Trump, I went to sleep at around 7 p.m. And when I woke up and I saw that Donald Trump won, I said, excuse me? Like, I was shocked.
A lot of people were.
And so I said, you know what? If he can do it, then I can do it. And
so Donald Trump inspired you.
Yeah, because after Obama, I was like, I'm going to never do this.
I was thinking the same thing.
He clean. I mean, had nothing on him. With me, I got all type of stuff out there. And so I was like, politics is not for me. But then when Donald Trump came through, I said, you know what? I'm going to give this a go. And I'm so glad that I did. I will say it was a very unique process. I blame my failures in that on myself. And I'm going to tell you why. At the end of the day, I'm politically aware, have a degree in history, all that jazz, blah, 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 blah. I did not understand the business of elections.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Had no idea. I didn't understand the importance and the power of fundraising.
Yep.
How to allocate your money and how to allocate your time. I knew the issues. If you brought me on stage, I hung with all those candidates. But when it came to the business of elections, I was not aware of it. And so for that, I blame myself for losing.
You know, it's funny. I thought I had a decent clue. I did. I thought I did. Man, I was fooling myself.
Ooh.
I was fooling myself because I'd been around it, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I had been next to it.
Me too.
So I thought that since I had been next to it, that I had absorbed enough to know it. Yeah, I was wrong. I was totally wrong.
Yes.
I was totally wrong. Mm-hmm. Yes. I really wish that I knew what I know now then. It would have been a much different campaign. I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm considering running again. I am. I'm going to announce yes or no in the summer. Okay. So I got to ask you, would you do it again?
Well, I already said I would never run, and I did. Here's the thing. I tell myself no, but when it's like an eternal flame that's in you. You know, at the end of the day, I love everyone and I care about people, and I believe that change is possible. If I do run again, I bet you I'm going to win. It's going to be much different. But really, and I think too, it's about also making sure that you run for the right position.
Oh yes,
on what you want to do. And
yes.
To be honest, I don't think that mayor of Atlanta at the time would have even served my goals for helping the community.
Got it. Okay. Well, you brought up elections, so I'm going to run a quick commercial because you gave me a chance.
Okay.
I want people to start thinking about elections.
Okay.
Larry Sharpe here, host of the Sharpe Way show. With what's going on right now in D.C., man, everybody's talking about the election. Did you believe it? Not believe it? You scared? You're not scared? Well, how do you kind of figure out where you really stand and where others stand? Guess what? There's a survey. Yes, there is. Head over to theadvocates.org Election Integrity Survey. Yep, there's one for that too. Head over there, take that test, a couple of minutes, 2 minutes at max. Take it, share it with others. Let people see what you thought, what you did, and let them take it too. See where they stand with other people in this country taking this test. How else are we going to have that conversation we need to have to discuss what's going on in our country and how can we trust and feel confident in what's going to happen in the future? Well, one way, the Election Integrity Survey, theadvocates.org. That's my sponsor. So guys, do me a favor. You see it up in the description. Click that link. Take that survey. Finish it up. Post it. Let other people see what you're doing. It's free. It makes my sponsors happy. It makes me happy. Everybody's happy. It's free. It takes 3 minutes. Please go and do that. But by the way, also what's in the show description is all the links for Mr. King right here. Please do whatever you need to do to check out his stuff. Lots of links there. Click on, he's on all the internet things. So just go there and click on them and see what he's doing. We did have a question. Someone saying, would you be considering to run locally in New York?
Let me tell you something. I just moved to New York in October, and I have a laundry list of things that need to change in this city. I mean, let me say this, because I moved because the rent was cheaper because of Corona.
Wow. Okay.
I had no idea. When you watch CNN and you don't live in New York, you think things are one way. When you get here, the amount of homelessness is out of control.
Absolutely, yes.
New York in the 80s.
Yes.
To the fact that you can walk down Times Square right now. Like, here I am. I stay near Times Square. I was walking home and there was a bag of crystal meth right on the floor. On the ground. And they're asking, do you want to buy Coke and stuff? I'm like, this is, because I used to live in New York in 2006 when Bloomberg was mayor. Mm-hmm. I did not see this at all. This
I know it's bad now.
Out of control in this city.
It is. I completely agree. I live in the city too. I'm in Queens. Yes, absolutely. Yes, this is a problem. But Craig says New York is looking for a new mayor. You might be the great choice. Just saying. I think someone's trying to push you in.
Listen, here's my thing. And Craig, I appreciate that because most people will look at me and be like, what, he can't be mayor. But the one thing I hope that this Corona epidemic has taught us is that we need more political figures with diversity of thought.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
We keep on talking about diversity, but diversity means nothing if you have a black guy and a white guy who are from the same school,
yes,
the same school system, and they think the same way.
Yes.
We need people who are going to challenge this norm and not just sit up here and play along with the games that have continued to fail the average American.
100%. Absolutely. I say it all the time. The goal is diversity of thought with unity of purpose.
Exactly.
If you can actually make that happen, now you're winning. That's exactly I totally agree completely. That's what we're all trying to achieve. So let me go to a whole different part of you if I can. I know you began in music.
Yes.
And you told me as we were talking before we went live, you were talking about how the COVID lockdown made you kind of think about maybe going back to what you love or something like that. And I think a lot of people have taken the COVID lockdowns in an only negative way, like, woe is me, the world's ending, I've lost everything. And that's true for some people. I don't want to take that pain away from some people. It's true for some people. But I do also want to say people should be looking at it as an opportunity to reboot also and to change and get better also. And you've done that. Tell me about that, please.
For me, it was a restart. When lockdown happened, I was in Atlanta and I actually quarantined, unlike most people in Atlanta. But I was just sitting in the house, and here's the thing, even before COVID, because of the fact that Trump was manipulating the market and this, that, and other, and everything. It was already difficult as an investor anyway. And so I was just like, you know what, I need a break. And I was just like, I'm going to move to New York and just, pursue music and as well as do investing on the side. And it's been a great decision. I've been really at peace. And here's the thing. I was functionally depressed and didn't even know it.
Wow. Tell me about that, please. A lot of people are feeling the same thing.
So what happened was my mom, my sister, and I, we went to New Zealand in 2015, but we hadn't taken a vacation in a long time. And so it was approaching the 10th year anniversary of my father's passing. And so my mom was just like, let's all go to Mexico for a trip. And I didn't really want to go. And in Mexico is when I was like, you know what? There's clarity. I realized that I was miserable in Atlanta. And I was just like, you know what? Let me just leave. And I moved to New York. And I landed in Atlanta on Wednesday. I moved on a Friday and left everything in my apartment.
Wow.
Clothes. And I had expensive stuff in my apartment. I only took my clothes, every piece of furniture, my bed, my dog crate. I left everything.
Why?
Because when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Okay. All right. No excuses. That's it. I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you just left it, then you took off and you went.
Yeah.
How did you know you were depressed?
Because, like I said, I was in Mexico, I was in Cancun, and I felt a spirit of peace. Understand? We went to Mexico, everything was still closed. So it was like we were taking excursions and this, that, and other and going to clubs. But just being out of the environment gave me an opportunity to see things from a much broader picture and just being able to be around my mom and my sister, and then just realizing that, Laban, like you are winning externally, but you are losing internally. We have to begin to not allow for the success of others to define the success within our hearts. And so I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and leave. And that's what I did.
Wow. Okay. So you pack them and leave. Your sister and mother have to be like, what is he doing?
Listen, they're used to it. When I first moved to New York, February 19, 2006, I told my parents February 18th, and I had just got out the hospital because I had my appendix removed. So I'm just somebody that go. Because listen, there will always be a reason to not move forward. There's a legitimate reason not to move forward.
I literally was taught in the Marine Corps, if you're not sure if you should take the hill, take the hill.
Mm-hmm.
Better to make a bad decision than no decision.
Right.
Fine. Go. Do it and whatever. Just do it. I agree. I'm the same. I agree completely. Wow. Okay. So you decide to pack up, head to New York. Did you feel when you got there that that it was working, like your depression was kind of going away, or was it still there? What did you feel when you got there?
Well, I can't wait till the city opens back up, because
yes, me too.
When I tell you, so the funniest thing, when I got here that Friday, that the next day, my best friend and his best friend, they came to visit because it was their birthday weekend. And so we spent $200 the first night in a cab trying to just go somewhere. We didn't know that everything was closed after 10.
Wow.
So we were like, literally, we would go to a cab, this place would be closed, we would go to another place, and we would go here, there, another, everything was closed. And so I just didn't realize that y'all closed this city.
Yes. Horribly. Yes. Terrible idea. Yes, we did. Yeah. We shut the city that never sleeps, slept.
The fact of the matter is, I have a picture of me in Times Square by myself.
Wow.
No one is in the background at all.
That's going to be worth money one day.
And it's almost like you would think it was Photoshopped. And I was like, wow, like this, they really took this bad boy serious.
Right.
But at the same time, while they've taken it more serious than Georgia, there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Oh, yes.
The road. And that's a whole nother conversation right there.
So I want to stay in this piece, though. So now you realize you moved here. The city shut down. It's not good. You probably can't go out and do the things you wanted to do that you were planning to do here. do you go deeper into depression, or do you snap out of it, or did something get you to go, you know what, I'm going to reboot? What was the thing that got you to go, all right, you know what, I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to go do what I want to do anyway?
Well, you know, for me, number one, it's like I said, I lived in New York in 2006, and financially I was in a much worse place. So I'm just like, the other day I got emotional because I was walking down a street, and I remember in 2006 walking down that same street one time and like being overdrawn in my account and being hungry. And the fact that I can, you know, walk down the street now, that same street, and living in almost Times Square and be able to eat. So for me, it's more, this is a reminder of how far I've come.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Go a little bit more farther now. So
I got it. Okay. So you're here, you're working, you're deciding, I'm going to work on my music. Did somebody nudge you into it? Did you see something? What made you say, music is it, I'm going back?
Well, actually, I got an opportunity to go into the studio with Grammy Award winning singer Monica. She invited me to the studio to listen to her new album. And so afterwards, you know, I had a conversation with her. I actually was on the reality show T.I. and Tiny's Family Hustle with Monica.
Okay.
So, you know, she really put the bug in me. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. Why not? You know? And it's a thing. I want people to understand balance. Don't get me wrong. I love investing. I love talking about money. I love researching it and reading about it. But it should not overwhelm you to the point where that's all you do. And so I encourage everyone to you know, have an occupation, but to also have a hobby as well, and to both put energy behind both. You know what I'm saying? I think that sometimes we kind of put our desires on the side in the name of building and making money. Whether I make money in music or not doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, I at least have some income coming in from another industry.
Sure.
But, I just love doing music. It's fun creating it, and it really is helping me with the balance of my life.
But when I hear you talking, this is the thing that surprised me about your new album, is that when I hear you speak, I've seen your videos, you seem to be very, what was the word I want to use for? While you're not necessarily outwardly straight-laced.
Correct.
Your mind, in my view, is. Maybe I'm misreading you, but my mind is, you are really about being methodical and thinking and it's a straight-lacedness in your mind. But your video, you know, your new song is not straight-laced at all. It's out there. It's, hey, here I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I enjoy. It's really out there. It's a different, from your image on your Facebook posts and such, and that video, it's like a different person.
Well, I wanted to do the video because, number one, it is about the fact that hard drugs are starting to become normalized.
That's true.
And, you know, Oregon just passed a law, you know, the state of Oregon just passed a law allowing for hard drugs to almost be legal. I don't want to quote anything.
No. I had a guest on last Friday, and she was talking openly about doing cocaine. She was like, yeah, I do it sometimes, but just openly about it. She lives in New York too, same thing. Yeah, I agree. I think it's becoming more and more the norm.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to bring awareness of the fact that, you know, because of, you know, people's depression due to Corona, a lot of people are drinking more.
Yes.
They are doing drugs. And let me tell you something. This cleanup is going to be interesting. Because like I said, I've known a lot of people who I didn't think would go down that road, and they did. And so I want people to understand that your situation is temporary and you don't have to self-medicate.
Okay.
People see that with that video.
Wow. Okay. No, I like that idea. I mean, look, I'm the straightest guy when it comes, squarest guy there is here. I mean, I all I do is like coffee. Okay. That's it, right? That's who I am. But I'm totally open. You should do whatever. You should always do you. You should always do you. But again, I don't want people to be, self-destructive, right? I want you to do you. I'd like you to not be self-destructive when you're doing it, is my issue. So Ryan says, hold on. He says, stop government medicating. I'm not sure where that is, but I think it means legalize help. I do love that. Yes, I do like that. Yes. Tom says, I've gotten really good at drinking during this time. Yeah. I'm not sure that's a good thing, Tom. I'm not sure that is.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy likes your idea. Diversify. Love that idea. Yes. Wow. Shelly brings up LaGuardia. She says, I was in LaGuardia by myself. It was eerie. Then when I took the train at Penn Station to go upstate, every single person had their own train car. Mm-hmm. Again, eerie. How do you get around that? I agree. This is going to be, it's going to be tough for us to clean up financially, physically, medically. I mean, almost every way you could imagine. This is going to be tough. And I think some people are trying to avoid the cleanup. And that's one of the reasons why they're keeping us locked down. Because once the lockdown's over, someone's got to handle the cleanup.
And then, like, you know, here's the thing. People have been in the house for the most part by themselves. And also people have lost loved ones and have not been able to grieve correctly.
Yes, so absolutely.
A lot of people who are going to be emotionally imbalanced. Like, you know, I just found out today that a childhood friend of mine passed away from corona. I just literally found
I'm sorry to hear that.
And, you know, I've had a god brother that passed away from it and, you know, couldn't go to the hospital. You know, I have one friend, his sister just had a baby. Nobody could visit her in the hospital. And so there's just a lot of people, you know, who have not been able to grieve appropriately. And then on top of that, the people who have caught corona, you don't know the lasting effects that they're going to have, the medical effects that they're going to have. So I just want, you know, everybody to, Reagan got rid of a lot of mental health institutions and Biden needs to put them back in. We're going to need them because it's going to be dangerous having people not getting the proper help after these past few months.
So let me go speaking about this. You've made your album, and it's out. Did it do what it was supposed to do for you? Did it scratch the itch or no? Is it still itchy?
Well, the album is not out yet. It's just
I thought it came out already.
No, the album won't be out until most likely the 1st of May. However, I have the first single, Party and Play, that's out.
Got it. Okay.
You can go on all streaming platforms and listen to it. But the thing about it is now I have to figure out how do you promote this in a time in which you can't really interact with people.
Right.
And especially when I did my music years ago, I did a lot of stuff overseas. Now we have to figure out, can we even go to these countries overseas? Right. I know London is still in heavy lockdown. So, you know, it's a lot of question marks in the air.
So are you done recording or no?
I have, as a matter of fact, I'll be done around like March the 15th.
That's when you'll be done recording. You'll be out.
The reason why we had to delay it is because my producer and my engineer caught COVID. So, yeah, we had to push things back. Yeah,
of course, it slows everything down. It slows everything down.
Correct.
So, if you had to give somebody a little bit of advice, if they're sitting home watching this, listening to this, and they're concerned, maybe finances aren't what they used to be. Maybe they're struggling here or there. Maybe lost a job. Maybe unemployment. Whatever. Something's not going well for them. What advice would you give them?
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. And so what that means is that God gives us permission to be mad, to be angry, and to be sad. But in the morning, you're supposed to change. At the end of the day, if God has given you one gift, you should not be broke. And he does not, and because he created everybody in his image, you have one gift. Tap into it and use it, embrace it, and grow from there.
Well, there we go. I love that. That's amazing. Well, Laban, let me ask, is there something that we should be talking about that I missed? Is there a piece of something that I didn't cover or something you want to say before you wrap this up?
No, thank you. And I want to thank you for having, for creating a platform to have uncomfortable conversations. No one grows in their comfort zone. And there's a lot of things that, you know, I've seen on your show, and I'm just like, this is progressive. And, you know, I pray that one day, you know, if this is your desire, that we see you on a major network.
I appreciate that. That'd be amazing. Let's hope. And if you guys want to, guess what? You can help me out. You can head on over to patreon.com/Sharpe Way. Thank you for letting me get a commercial out. So yeah, I can do that. Head on over there. Throw me $10. If you like what I'm doing, if you think this is valuable, throw me $10 a month to keep this going so I can keep my staff getting paid so we can keep pumping this stuff out to the best of our ability. I appreciate it. Laban, thank you so much for coming this evening. I really appreciate your time. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you all very soon.